What up DGF? What would be your first choice for a 7th gen console setup in the modern era? Raw dogging it on a 4K TV, 4K with a RetroTink, a 720p screen to get a nice native render resolution match on more games, / a classic CRT. Happy holidays, gents. In theory, this one's pretty straightforward though, isn't it, John?
Yeah, there's really two things. One, I think a RetroTink is a great choice here on a modern TV. A second more difficult thing would be something like the FW900, a proper widescreen CRT monitor that can natively support these resolutions. That's probably the best way to play it in terms of what you will get visually. But RetroTink to a large screen with nearest neighbor scaling is second. 720p flat panels, though, basically don't exist. I wish they did, but they basically never made them. The only ones that ever existed were freaking like DLP projectors, both like rear projector and front projector. But actual 720p 1280 by 720 LCD panels, plasma TVs, they never really made them. And I don't know why. They always did this like 1366 by 768 or whatever. I think it was because of overscan, which was only useful for like television broadcasts, but like for games and such, it sucks because everything had to be interpolated slightly to reach 768p. So it just makes image quality worse across the board. So I really wish somebody had made a 720p screen from that era, especially like a nice plasma with a true 1280 by 720p screen would be awesome.
Right.
Okay. So RetroTink, you're talking nearest neighbor 3x3 upscaling, right?
Yeah.
What about the
That's
new
what I did for the
CRT
360
stuff?
video. What's that?
CRT,
The CRT stuff that's being added to RetroTink. Could that be used with a 720p input, or is it just for lower resolutions?
You can. It's not as useful there. Like I've done it where you like sort of simulate. You can use like lines and stuff to like simulate like flat panel like pixels. Because you don't want it to look like a CRT. Instead, you try to make it look more like it gives the impression that you're looking at a large native 720p screen to a degree. And it's an interesting approach to take, but it does kind of dim the image a bit. And, it's not perfect, but there's definitely some potential there to do something that makes it look more like you're looking at a 720p picture on a 720p pixel screen.
Yeah. This is also just a hard gen to go back to because the upscaling, but also unless you're playing very specific games, like
that's what
the performance of these games is going to be a bit crap, some of them. So it's like a little bit of a crapshoot when you go back to this era. It's not as nice as the PS2, right, where you get like 60 in a lot of games. So like here, I really would be curious what games you are playing there. And the question is maybe you can find them elsewhere in a better condition, like Xbox back compat or PC version, or even emulation, depending upon how far. Because that's actually, RPCS3 has been great for this, where you can start playing those classic games maybe with better performance than they had. Better than the 360 version, better than the PS3 version. So maybe that Snorkel Bandit, unless you really want to have that experience of loading up that console.
I love addressing people by their nicknames like that, just so like nonchalantly in a Snorkel Bandit. I was thinking of
Oh dear. Yeah. Well, I'm just going to do it again. Neo, Trinity, Morpheus, Snorkel Bandit.
Snorkel Bandit. Yeah. I think he dies in the first scene, right?
It turns out Neo wasn't the one. It was Snorkel Bandit all along.
Yeah, imagine the scene with like when Morpheus is offering the pills and he's like, Snorkel Bandit, you must choose between one of these.